This is Sasha. This is Sam. When they first met, it was just small talk about where to find the best coffee, the new high top she just bought, a book of poetry he found at a used bookstore, a new local band she discovered just last weekend, a zombie apocalypse movie he saw last night with some friends from his martial arts class, her homemade screen print t-shirt, and his favorite Chinese restaurant, which made them both hungry. So they got 2 orders of Mandarin chicken with brown rice. And then Sam opened his fortune cookie. Life's journey ends with a new beginning.
Whoa, that's deep. But in the real world, life's journey ends with an ending. When you die, you're done.
Well, yes, your body no longer works, but your soul continues to exist, don't you think?
Your soul? No, I don't believe in ghosts. We're physical creatures, material objects, just a collection of highly organized atoms. When your brain flatlines, that's it. Game over.
So you don't believe in life after death?
No. I mean, it's a comforting thought, but there's just no scientific evidence for it. I'd rather face the real world than believe in a fairy tale.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. It's best to face reality, but it may be that life after death is reality. I mean, think about it. If life just ends at death, then everything we do or say comes to nothing. What meaning or purpose can our lives possibly have?
Well, I guess my life has whatever meaning I choose to give it. I personally believe in truth, beauty, science, making the world a better place, saving the environment, freedom of speech, and, tolerance.
Yes, that's all well and good. But what does all that matter if it ends in nothingness? What are your thoughts about God?
Which God? There are millions of gods.
The God that's in the Bible.
It's been proven that the Bible is just a bunch of mythology written by ancient desert nomads. But if faith in God makes you feel good, I won't argue with that. But I personally prefer more of a rational, open-minded approach to life. Here's what I believe, Sasha. You shouldn't think anything is true unless it's been scientifically proven.
But has that belief itself been scientifically proven? Sam, you and I look at life very differently.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like we're from different worlds.
Not different worlds, different worldviews. A worldview is the set of lenses through which you see the world around you. It's a web of habit-forming beliefs that helps you make sense of all your experiences. Through your worldview, you interpret life in a particular way. It affects how you think, how you feel, and how you live from day to day. To understand what your worldview is, think carefully about the big questions of life. Does God exist? How did everything begin? Who am I? Why am I here? Am I living a good life? What happens after I die? Cabbages and puppies don't think about this stuff, but people do. Reflecting on these questions is part of what makes us human. In fact, every one of us has a worldview. What's yours?
Okay, so I heard you're a Christian.
Yes, the rumors are true.
Well, I'm glad you found something that works for you.
Well, it doesn't just work for me. Christianity is actually true. It describes reality.
Yeah, okay, it's true for you, but it's not true for everyone. And don't you think everyone has a right to believe whatever they want to believe?
Yeah, people should choose their own beliefs. I'm all for that. But that doesn't mean that everyone's beliefs are true.
Whoa, don't you think that's a little narrow-minded?
Well, that's the way truth is. It's narrow and exclusive.
Maybe for you.
It is for everybody. 2 + 2 =
4?
Right. But you just excluded lots of numbers. See, that doesn't mean you're narrow-minded. It means that truth is narrow, because it excludes all the answers that are not true.
Okay, that works for math, but not for personal beliefs. My philosophy professor says there's 2 kinds of truth. There's absolute truth, like back in the Dark Ages, if something was true, it was objectively true for everybody, everywhere, all the time. But now he says we're enlightened, and we know there's no such thing as absolute truth.
Is it absolutely true that there's no absolute truth?
Absolutely. And the other kind of truth is where each individual creates his or her own reality. That's called relative truth.
And does your relative truth apply to me too?
Huh?
Is the relative truth you've created true for everyone or just you?
Oh, relative truth applies to everyone, everywhere.
So, relative truth is absolutely true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, with so many beliefs out there, you can't just go around believing that your belief is right.
Is your belief that you shouldn't believe your belief is right?
Yeah. If you go around saying that Christianity is absolutely true, it makes people who disagree with you feel bad. It's a form of oppression. It's hate speech. That's why our campus has all those safe spaces.
Let me get this straight. If our beliefs are different, that means I'm oppressing you, I hate you, and you're not safe?
Pretty much.
Oh, come on. Are you feeling oppressed right now?
Well, no, I just think people shouldn't express their personal beliefs.
Dude, you're expressing your personal belief that expressing a personal belief is wrong.
Well, let's not make value judgments like right and wrong.
So saying an idea is right or wrong is wrong, right?
You're right, it's wrong. Telling someone they're wrong is just not right.
Right.
It's what's known as intolerance, and that's one thing society should never ever put up with.
Intolerance.
Yeah, like, okay, for example, you Christians always say that Jesus is the only way. That's about as intolerant as you can get. Lots of people aren't Christians. Just think how it makes them feel.
But it's a fact that Jesus made the exclusive claim that he was the only way to God.
That's just your opinion.
No, really, I didn't make it up. It's a historical fact that he made that claim. The earliest first century biographies document that Jesus said he was the door to heaven. He also said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me.
Well then, if Jesus made that claim, then he was intolerant.
Wait a sec. If your doctor tells you that one and only one particular medicine will cure your disease, do you tell her she's being narrow-minded and intolerant?
No.
This is the same thing. Jesus is saying that he's the one thing that all of us need.
So you're saying I have to believe this?
No, you can decide to believe whatever you want. That's your call. But you can't change the historical fact that Jesus made this huge claim about himself.
So I'm entitled to my own opinions?
Yeah, but you're not entitled to your own facts. None of us are. Jesus made the claim, and it's either true or false. How you evaluate that claim is entirely up to you.
My philosophy professor never talked about this stuff.
Yeah, I know. Tolerance doesn't mean that we have to agree. In fact, you can't tolerate people you agree with because you agree with them. There's nothing to tolerate.
Huh. I never thought of that.
Tolerance means that you disagree with someone, but you still give them the right to be wrong.
Okay, wow, this is cool. Do you have time for coffee? Let's see if we can tolerate each other some more.
Sounds good. How tolerant are you? Take the tolerance quiz and find out.
Each year, the President of the United States lights a national Christmas tree, hosts a Hanukkah party at the White House, and issues a proclamation honoring Ramadan. Only in America. Indeed, America is known for religious tolerance. In fact, it is not an exaggeration to say that America, where people of all faiths are free to worship or not worship as they please, invented modern religious tolerance. This tolerance, which Americans take for granted, didn't exist anywhere in the world before America invented it. How did this happen? To answer that, we have to look to America's origins, which were overwhelmingly religious and, to be precise, overwhelmingly Christian. To put it another way, America became the religiously open nation that we know today because it was first a Christian nation, specifically a Protestant one. Let me explain. Until the beginning of the 16th century, religious life in Europe was dominated by the Catholic Church. All religious power was concentrated in the Pope and the Catholic clergy. They determined religious doctrine. The power structure was top-down. All that changed in 1517 when Martin Luther, a German priest, led a revolt that came to be known as the Protestant Reformation. The theme of the Reformation was that people should be free to interpret the Bible and manage their houses of worship as they saw fit. A bottom-up power structure. The most zealous of England's reformers were known as the Puritans, so called because they wanted to purify the Church of England. Some of these Puritans became so disenchanted, they decided they had no choice but to leave England. Only in the new world of America, untainted by European prejudices, could they practice their Protestant Christianity in its purest form. We know these hardy souls as pilgrims. The strength of their conviction can easily be measured by the incredible risks they took in crossing the North Atlantic on small wooden sailing ships, of which the Mayflower was only one. True to their religious background, these early settlers, and those that followed, were fiercely independent. Given that the Puritans believed that people should read and interpret Scripture for themselves, how could it be otherwise? Not surprisingly, it didn't take long before disputes broke out among the settlers regarding doctrine. In fact, the colony of Rhode Island was established in 1638 as a haven for some of these dissidents. Throughout the 17th century, more colonists arrived, including Catholics and Jews, but their numbers remained small relative to the Protestant majority. All the way through American independence in 1776 and the Revolutionary War that followed, Protestants remained dominant. But with more settlers came more religious discord. The only thing that everyone could agree on was that religion, specifically Christianity, firmly rooted, it's important to note, in the Hebrew Scriptures, was central to the new nation's life. When the colonies became states and wrote their state constitutions, they were noticeably Christian in their language and tone. But beyond that, there was little uniformity. Some states granted privileges to specific religions, while others expressed religious freedom for everyone. Delaware required an oath of office that professed faith in God and Jesus Christ. North Carolina prohibited any atheist or one who denied, quote, the truth of the Protestant religion, unquote, to hold office. A handful of states required office holders to be Christians. Some others required public officials to simply state they believed in God. On the other hand, 5 states prohibited clergy from holding office. This crazy quilt, anyone can interpret Scripture on their own, state by state, church by church character of early American religious practice, which is both distinctly Protestant and uniquely American, led to the atmosphere of tolerance that was present at the founding of the nation. Indeed, it's enshrined in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Given America's English and European roots, places where governments officially sanction one religion, this was a singular advance in human freedom. So, when the President of the United States lights a national Christmas tree, hosts a Hanukkah party at the White House, and issues a proclamation honoring Ramadan, we should thank those headstrong Puritans. I'm Larry Swikart of the University of Dayton for Prager University.
Join Prager University. Click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click here to sign up for free at prageru.com for quizzes, contests, and prizes. The left and the right view America and its history very differently. Conservatives view America as President Abraham Lincoln viewed it, as the last best hope of Earth. While acknowledging America's flaws, conservatives regard America as the best society ever created, giving more people of more backgrounds, more freedom, more opportunity, and more affluence than any other society, and doing more good for more people in other countries than any society in history. The left, on the other hand, sees America as having been and continuing to be a very flawed country, morally no better than many and morally inferior to many. The left's view is that America was founded by rich white males who were intent on protecting their race, their wealth, and in many cases, their slaves. America was and remains sexist, intolerant, xenophobic, and bigoted. A country of unacceptable material inequality where the super rich and big corporations have far too much power and influence. The further left one goes, the more negative the assessment of America. Here's a telling example. On my radio show, I once dialogued with Howard Zinn, arguably the most influential American historian of the second half of the 20th century. Here is one part of our dialogue. Professor Zinn said, if people knew history, they would scoff at the idea that the United States is a force for the betterment of humanity. When I said that America has done more good for humanity than any other country, Professor Zinn responded, America has, quote, probably done more bad than good, unquote. For the left, the moral flaws in American history are enormous, but all the unique good America has done, both in America and abroad, is minimized or ignored. Take the example of slavery. This terrible institution is the most widely cited proof of American evil. The problem with that judgment, however, is that every civilization in world history, even including African societies, practiced slavery, often on a far larger scale than America did. But there are two other questions about slavery that must be asked in order to make a moral judgment about America. The first is, which societies were the first to abolish slavery? Since all societies had slavery, that is a far more important question to ask than who had slaves. It turns out that all the societies that first abolished slavery were rooted in the Jewish and Christian Bibles, and among them was the United States. The second question that needs to be answered is this: was America morally better than other societies in just about every other regard? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes. America gradually became the least racist, least xenophobic country in the world. In no country do people of every race and ethnicity become accepted as full members of the society as do immigrants to America. And no country in history has fought for the liberty of others as much as America has. That is why, for example, 37,000 Americans died in Korea, a country that offered America no economic gain. The purpose was to protect Koreans from communist tyranny. Today, South Korea, where American troops are still stationed, is one of the wealthiest and freest countries in Asia. Meanwhile, North Korea, the part of the Korean peninsula that America did not succeed in liberating, is the least free and poorest country on earth. Without America, people around the world would suffer from far more tyranny, enslavement, and genocide. The countries where American troops have remained long after their combat ceased, Germany, Japan, and South Korea, have prospered economically and morally. Countries that America abandoned, such as Vietnam and Iraq, experienced mass murder and other horrors. The left, however, views nearly all of America's wars since 1945 as expressions of superpower imperialism. Days before the 2008 American presidential election, the Democratic candidate, then Senator Barack Obama, announced, quote, "We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America." Exactly so. The left wants to fundamentally transform America. The right doesn't. Conservatives want to conserve America's unique greatness and improve it where necessary, but not transform it. If America is fundamentally transformed, it will not become better than other nations. It will become like other nations. I'm Dennis Prager. To subscribe to our YouTube channel, click here. To help keep our videos free, donate here.